Hi everyone, I am here with the first Mickey and Minnie series card for 2018. Previous videos I showed supplies, I showed how to make the envelope for the card being kind of a dimensional card, and what else did I show? I will link the video to how to make the Mickey heads. They're done with circle punches. Same video, I showed two different sizes. So I showed the smaller one I used in all of the previous series and the larger one that we're going to be using for this series. So didn't do the video for January's card making part, but just for a little recap, this is January's. So we've got Mickey and Minnie. So this whole series, if you didn't watch any of the previous videos, I will be making 2 cards per month. So I'm going to have a Mickey and a Minnie. Just because I chose to do the larger Mickey heads, because it is a split panel card, it was just easier. You could do the smaller ones if you wanted to. I just wanted to change it up a little bit. Another thing that I did add to mine, because I do have them, is I still have all my sticks, my Stamps by Judith sticks, and I still want to keep using them. So I went back, and it's not the best, but I just wanted to see what it would look like. So I stamped a couple of the snowflakes, which they kind of also look like maybe like a starburst or a firework or something for New Year's. Just underneath this top panel here. Now you could stamp some up here and down here and they would still be covered. I was just doing it to see what it would look like, and I kind of like it. I don't like my placement, but I like the idea. So I will probably pull out mine and use those. So if you followed along from last year's series and you still have these, yeah, just add to the card. I do have several different types. These are all of the ones I used in last year's series, but I've got more than just what's on here, so I'm actually going to put that aside. But if you guys wanted to pause and write down any of these numbers or names or anything, now would be the chance to do that. So there's that. These are over at stampsbyjudith.com. So, and there's a ton more, honestly. Those are just the ones I used in the series, but as you can see, there's more here. So I have a variety of different ones to choose from. They are fairly inexpensive. You know, this is not a necessity for this card. It's just an additional add-on if you choose to, or if you've got any other little mini stamps that you choose to use, just to kind of decorate the inside a little bit more. Feel free to do that. So here is, we're going to do the first card for Valentine's Day for February. I'm only going to make one card on camera, but I did take the other card and I have written out the measurements for you guys. So I'm going to put this one together, but I'm going to show you the measurements first. So this one's going to be just a little bit longer than the rest of the videos for the series. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cut your card base, and I did not put a sticker on this. Let me go ahead and just do that. Some people who are beginners don't know what size a normal card base could be. So I am doing a top folding A2 size card. So my card is cut at 4 1/4. So 4 1/4 by 11, and then it's going to be scored at 5 1/2. That's going to give me my top folding portrait style A2 size card. I like the top folding. Now you can choose to do a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 and score it at 4 1/4, and it will give you your side folding A2. This is just how I'm doing it this time. So there's the measurement for that. So that's going to be your card base. Then your next piece is going to be your inside mat, which is going to be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So there's that one. Then your panel pieces. So I've got 2 patterns that I'm using. You can use the same pattern, you can use whatever. There's seasonal stacks. Anywhere that they sell paper pads, pretty much, you can get like a year-round seasonal stack if you want to choose that, or just get stuff out of your stash. It doesn't really matter. So I'm choosing these 2 patterns for this one. Now, when you cut these, you're going to cut your mat at 4 1/8 by 1 7/8, and you're going to need 2 of them. Then your pattern piece, you're going to do 4 by 1 3/4, and you're going to need 2 of those. So here are the measurements for those. Okay, then you will need your little square panel piece for the front that's going to connect your 2 panels together. And like I said, any colors you want. You can do these not just for the Mickey and Minnie series, you can do these for anything. So your first piece is going to be cut at 2 7/8 by 2 1/2. So that's going to be your mat. Then I'm using white because I'm doing the Mickey and Minnie heads. And this piece is going to be cut at 2 3/4 by 2 3/8. And you just need 1 each of these. So there's the measurements for those. And that's pretty much it. I did choose to make a template for the inside, and I will show you how I'm going to use this. And then if you guys want to know how to make this, I can do a video. This is just so I know where I'm stamping on the inside of my card, so it doesn't go outside of this edge here that's actually going to be open. So I just did it for myself. This is not necessary really, but if you guys want to know how to make that, I can show that in a different video. So let's go ahead and get started. I have everything pre-cut. So if you guys paused and wrote down those measurements, this is the only place I'm going to have the measurements. I don't do a blog or anything anymore. I can't keep up with it. So best thing to do is just go ahead and pause on all the measurements and then write them down. So, and I do go over them in every video as well. So there is that. All right, I'm going to score this. Move some stuff out of my way. So I'm going to score my 4 1/4 by 11 piece at 5 1/2 right here. So 5 1/2, and I'm going to go ahead and just fold or just press that down. All right, so there is my card base, all ready to go. Now what we're going to do is some cutting. So you don't want to leave this hole, obviously, because we're doing a split panel. So I guess I shouldn't have folded it. But on this score line, you're going to line the score line up at 2 inches. So you're going to, here we go. You're going to line your score line up at 2 inches, and then you're going to trim that off. So now you've got the top piece to your panel. Now you're going to take this piece here, and you're going to line it up at the 2. If I can get it lined up at the 2. You're going to line that up at 2. And now you've got your bottom panel, and you have this part left over. You can save this in your scraps. It's great for little punches and things like that. So we've got our top panel and our bottom panel. So that's how you get the panel part. We're done with the cutting. So inside the card, all we're going to do is just attach the 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inch message mat. So just going to attach it. Now if you like a 1/4 inch for your borders, for your other pieces to poke through the back, you can totally adjust the measurements to 1/4 inches instead of 1/8 inches. That's a personal preference thing, totally up to you, whatever you choose to do. I tend to stick with the 1/8 inch measurements, just I like them. So I'm just going to place this on here as even as possible. So there's the inside. Super easy. All right, now we're going to decorate our panels. So we've got the top one and the bottom one. Now my bottom one is going to have my words. You can switch it up, you can put it wherever you want, but that's where I'm going to put mine. So again, this piece is actually cut to 4 1/4 by 2. So you want to make sure that that's cut correctly. Then we'll go over this one again. This piece, your mat, is cut at 4 1/8 by 1 7/8, and we need 2 of them. Then our pattern pieces, so I've got my words and then my little pattern, are going to be 4 by 1 3/4. And like I said, you can do the same pattern on both pieces if you choose, or you can mix it up. I liked the contrast of the 2 different patterns that coordinated. So again, it's another personal preference thing. So whatever you choose to do. All right, now I'm just going to stick this down on here. So I've got that even border again. There's that one. Go ahead and do this one. And then we will attach our mats onto those panel pieces. This card goes really quickly once you have everything cut and scored and matted. It goes together pretty quick. So that is why I had pre-cut the entire series, because for me it's going to be easier to stay focused with instead of having to pull everything out and cut them every month. I just wanted to do it ahead of time. So all of these measurements today will help you guys be able to cut ahead of time now yourselves, if you choose to. So now I'm going to just attach the top one. So just right up here on the top. And the Stampin' Up! Color cardstock I'm using for this one, this is Melon Mambo. I did go over the color choices that I am using in the supply video, so you can go back and watch that if you feel like it. So now I'm going to attach this piece to the bottom panel, and then we will mat our middle focal point, and then I will show you how to attach it. It's super easy. Alright, now we're going to get this piece on here. So then we have both of our mats done. Alright, now these pieces, again, I'm going to go over the measurements with you. Your mat is going to be 2 7/8 by 2 1/2. And then, I guess it's kind of a double mat. You would use another solid color. I chose white. You could actually do another pattern piece if you wanted to. But like I said, I'm using the black Mickey heads, so I just really wanted them to pop out. So your second mat or pattern paper is going to be 2 3/4 by 2 3/8. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these together. Alright, so same thing, just going to make sure I've got an even enough border. So then we have that. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take this loose panel, and as we can kind of zoom in a little bit for this part. So we're going to take the loose panel, and I'm just going to line it up with the bottom piece of my card base. So I'm just going to line that one up just like that. Then I'm going to make sure you've got the longer side going horizontally. So you want your 2 7/8 to go horizontal, and you want your 2.5 for your base to go vertical. On the longer sides, on the top and the bottom, I'm just going to put a strip of ATG tape. Now you could use liquid adhesive for this part as well. I don't remember if I did on the other cards where you could just put a strip of liquid. It's totally up to you. So I'm just going to close this one down. I'm going to hold this bottom panel, and then I'm just going to kind of eyeball to see if this is roughly the same distance. Now my bottom piece moved, so I'm going to straighten that back out. And then I'm going to kind of hold that down for a second. And then I'm just going to press just like that. And then that creates my split panel. So then you're stuck with this. All right, now I'm just going to press that down. It's not completely even on both sides there. So it's kind of like, when I'm not filming, it's easier because I can focus on getting it centered a little bit better. But that's the idea. That's kind of how you do it. It's a little crooked. So that's going to drive me crazy. I'm going to fix it because I think I can just pull this right up super quick. So I'm going to actually, whoops, I'm tearing my paper. That's okay because we're going to cover it right back up. So eyeballing it is definitely not the issue. It's just when I'm filming, I can't see straight down. But since you kind of already saw me attach it, I'm going to go ahead and stand up, I think. I'm trying to get this tape off my fingers. And then get this one centered a little better. I'm rubbing all of this off because I don't want it to be super bulky on one side by just putting tape over it. So the pattern paper that I'm using is fairly thin. That's, I think, why it tore. And I might have had the bottom stuck on a little bit better than the top piece. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. I'm going to line this up with the bottom. Go ahead and put my adhesive on there. Alright, so I'm going to stand up for this part so I don't get my head in the way. So then we're going to close that piece, and I'm just grabbing the sides. I want to try to get this as straight as I can. So if you need both hands, just make sure that you keep your thumbs possibly on this piece if you can. Totally out of frame there. So it doesn't move around too much. So just like this, and I think that's a lot better than how I had it. So I'm going to go ahead and press down on that center, and then go ahead and adhere those. So now it's a lot more centered. Another thing you could actually do to help you center this is once you get your bottom panel lined up, you could take like a little mini binder clip or something, and you could, you know, hold that down while you're trying to line up this piece so you know it's not moving. It might be better if you take one and put one on each side just so it doesn't move. That's another option that I just now thought of. So there's always that. All right, I'm going to zoom back out and we can finish the rest of this card. Okay, so there is basically our card. Now on the inside, I'm going to stamp with Melon Mambo ink. I'm using the Teeny Tiny Wishes. I've got the Happy Valentine's Day right here. This is the product number for the Teeny Tiny Wishes, in case you're interested. And I've got it already mounted. It's a clear set. I think it comes in wood too. Got it mounted on my G block. So I'm just going to ink that up with some Melon Mambo. Going to open up my card. Now this is what I made my template for. So I'm just going to lay this right over the one that I have on the inside. So I've got this little cutout, knowing that when I close this, my stamped stuff is going to stay within that section. So it's not popping out on either side. So you don't really need to hold this down. Once you have it in place, you can just stamp towards the top or the bottom, whatever you choose. There's my Happy Valentine's Day right on the inside. Now, another thing, like I showed at the beginning of the video, is if you've got the little Judith sticks or stubbies or any type of little mini stamps that you'd like to use, you can go ahead and do so. So I'm actually going to use the open heart that I have, and I'm just going to stamp some hearts up here on the top. So I know if I stay up here, this panel is going to cover these so you won't see them poking through. You just want to make sure nothing's on the sides. And I'm just, I'm going to go back and fix that later. But I'm just going to stamp, I'm not doing very well. There we go. Just some random hearts. If I was taking more time, these would look better, but I didn't. So that's okay. I can go back and fix it with my Stamp 'em of Jig, and I can line that up. So that's what it would look like. You know, fully stamped hearts would be better, but you get the idea. So there's that. Now, we don't need any more ink, but we do need the Mickey head. Now, if you're doing a Mickey and Minnie, you're going to need two. I'm just using one today, and I'm going to do the Minnie card. So I'll do the Mickey one off camera. So this is going to basically go in the center. What you're going to need for her bow, if you're doing it the same way I am, is I'm using the Bow Builder Punch from Stampin' Up, which is current item in the annual catalog. So that's an option. You can tie a bow with ribbon. You can use a die to cut out the ribbon however you feel like you need to do it. I'm just using some retired Brights DSP in Melon Mambo. All of mine will have a piece of Designer Series paper that is this polka dot in every color that I've chose to do for the entire series. It's no longer available, so if you do have it, use it. If not, you can use anything that's going to coordinate with your cards. It doesn't really matter. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm only cutting, I don't need the flap underneath, the tails. I just need this piece here and then my wrap, the little wrap piece there. So I've cut my cardstock down basically to 1 inch. So I can stick it in here, and I just need to punch 2 of these to make my bow. So there's one. Now it's a little got stuck. Okay, and then I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna do the other one. And I cut it down so I don't waste a lot of pieces from being punched that aren't going to be used. So here are my 2 pieces for my bow. And my centerpiece, you could actually use this extra piece that we had cut off the card to punch out. So all you would do is just stick this in here, kind of line it up, and punch it out. So then we have the centerpiece to wrap for our bow. Now I'm going to grab a little scrap piece of paper here because I'm going to glue, and I don't want the glue on my mat. So I take my bone folder and I just kind of break up the fibers and give that a little bit of a curl. so it'll form a bow better. Then I'm going to take my, I think we'll just use this one, my Zig 2-way glue. Kind of sticky. And glue my panels together. But first I'm actually going to put a dimensional on one side of my bow. Okay, so then I'm going to take this glue, I'm going to put it right there, and then I'm going to line up my pieces. Now I put the dimensional there, so I'm just going to line this up and just kind of give it a squeeze. So when if it gets pressed down, it's only going to go down so far. I should have done 2. I'm going to try to double that. So let's take another one. And I'm going to try to squeeze it in there. So I'm just going to take this one. I guess I need to get it the right direction. Alright, so if you're going to do this, go ahead and double it up before you fold it over. There we go. So there's that. That didn't work out very well. Did I already take the, no, it stuck to the other side. Hold on. This is not cooperating. I was trying to take the paper off and it stuck to this one. So hopefully, see, I make mistakes. There are times that I don't think things through all the way. So what I did was I did not remove the backing from the dimensional first. And it stuck to the one inside, but it stuck on the opposite side where it shouldn't have. So now we're going to stick it back in there. And it should stick this time. If I can get it to stop sticking to my fingers. There we go. Alright, so that actually keeps the bow from squashing all the way down, especially if you're going to put it in the envelope and try to mail it. Alright, so now we're going to do this one. Do it a little closer to that tail piece. And I'm going to go ahead and attach both of them while it's open. Just like that. Put some glue down and line these up just like so. Okay, now we're going to glue adhere these two pieces together. Just like so. And now I'm going to use my Tombow glue, I think, if I can get it. Because it actually holds this better. I have to move the camera just a little bit. Oy. So not just a little bit. Oy. I forgot to grab the Tombow glue out first. I guess we could go ahead and use this because I don't have another one at my desk. So I'm going to move back. I forgot about the bow part. Alright. So, adhesive in the center. Just kind of hold that piece down. I think I'm kind of out of whack here. On the back, just gonna put a little bit on that panel, wrap that around. This is why I use the Tombow glue when I do this part, because it's cardstock. It actually holds it a lot stronger. So hopefully I can get this to stay. And then put some on this panel. And wrap that one around. So just hold that in place for a minute. Move this out of the way. Make sure that that stays. So then we have our little bow. Then we're going to take a glue dot and go ahead and attach this. Alright, so we're just going to center it on the Mickey head. Just like that. Then I'm going to take one of my basic rhinestones. I'm going to use the larger one. And we're going to pop that right in the center of the bow. So there we have Minnie Mouse. Now we're going to take some dimensionals and pop this up. So I'm going to put one on each ear. And then I'm going to put one here and then one on the bottom. Then we're going to center this on that middle panel, and that's the card. So like I said, once you start doing these, and you're making a couple of them here and there, they're super easy and they go pretty quick. So just going to center Minnie Mouses. And there you have it. There's the Minnie Mouse. So then you would just make the other card would be your Mickey. So you'd have your Mickey and your Minnie. That's it. It's super simple, guys. It's like, I fumble around sometimes when I start doing videos again. I haven't done any card making videos in a while. So now that I've started again, I will get used to it. I won't fumble so much. But I do make mistakes. We all make mistakes at some point. Good thing is most of them can be fixed, just like I did. So there you have it. There is the Minnie Mouse for the Mickey and Minnie series. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, just let me know. All the links will be down in the description for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this series as much as you have the past ones, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!